from the Las Vegas Strip Studio in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It's BettorCenter Live. I'm your host, Brad Stein, and you can watch us at daily 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, on the weekend 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on BettorCenter.com, also YouTube at Louis Diamond, and Facebook. Woo! We got count them, 4 pro handicappers from all over the place right here to give us a little information, make us some money, and to make us laugh. And of course, we have the eye candy. Don't forget about that. What a day in sports. What a weekend it was. The Dodgers down 3 games to 1, win 3 games straight. The Rays up 3 games to 0, lose 3 games, win game number 7, and that is our World Series, the Dodgers and the Rays. And then in the National Football League, who could ever figure, 3 unbeatens, Pittsburgh, Seattle, and Tennessee. And in my opinion, the Tennessee Houston Texan game, probably the best of the week, of the day. And we know what the Jets are doing, don't we? We do. And we're going to go right now to our man on the street, Tony Cusimano, a little bit early because he's going to pull double duty. He is at AT&T Stadium, so I'm going to reach out and touch him. Tony Cusimano, welcome to the show. Welcome to BettorCenter Live, AT&T Stadium. What's going on with the Dallas Cowboys?
All right, Brad, you are correct. I'm at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys here in Arlington, Texas. And not only one game tonight, we got a doubleheader tonight. We're going to cover Arizona and Cowboys first. Of course, we've got Buffalo, Kansas City because of Thursday night's rescheduling. But first here, AT&T Stadium, Arizona comes to town. Kyler Murray and company against the Dallas Cowboys. I was about to say Dak Prescott, but we know there's no Dak Prescott. I was going to say quickly here, there were some big signings in the offseason. Of course, we know Dak Prescott got the $33 million. Tom Brady, 2 years for $50 million. Phillip Rivers is now with Indianapolis. And, of course, Kirk Cousins got the extension through 2022. But whoever thought that the best $3 million investment would be a man by the name of Andy Dalton, and that's who's going to be starting tonight for the Cowboys. Cowboys are -1, over and under 55. I tell you, I really believe that the Dallas Cowboy offense will still be running. All systems go. All the pistons will be churning with Dalton. It's the defense that has to get their acting gear here. The 2-3 Cowboys, they're giving up 36 points per game. So that's what they got to really work on, guys. I was going to get your feedback on that. We're at -1, and again, 55.5. I think Mr. Dalton, 9-year veteran, I think he's going to be looking real good behind center. He got a little warm-up last week against the Giants. With that, I'm going to, like I said, we're pulling double duty today, Brett. I'm going to throw it back to you guys. Arizona, Kyler Murray at the Cowboys tonight, Monday night. And then, of course, you guys will cover the Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. So take it away, Brad, from there. Go ahead, Arizona Cowboys.
Thank you, Cusimano. We'll come back to you for the World Series, but let's introduce those 4 resident sports handicappers. We have Tony Gulledge, we have Ross Benjamin, we have Chip Chirimbes, and Louis Diamond. Guys, welcome back to BettorCenter Live. Once again, happy Monday to everyone.
Thank you, Brad.
Morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
All right, Chip, let's start with you guys. Let's start with you, Chip Chirimbes. What did you learn from yesterday? There was a lot to learn.
I learned that New York is not going to go winless. The Giants, who put up an amazing 240 offensive yards, pounded the Redskins yesterday. So we're going to have at least 1 win out of New York in the football season this year. I can't see the Jets winning anything at any time. They are putrid.
Pretty much, yes. Ross Benjamin, what did you learn?
Head coach of the Houston Texans. How you go for 2 when you're up 7 is beyond me. You kick the extra point, go up 8. If they score a touchdown, they still got to make it 2. You're forcing them to score twice, basically. You made it easy on them. It backfired. You lost the game. And I know Chipper couldn't have been too happy about that decision either. I believe that was his only loser. He should have won 5-0 yesterday. By the way, Brad went 4-1 at rbwins.com with my NFL play selections, which included a 10-star top play on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who humbled the Green Bay Packers. Back to you, Brad.
They certainly did. We talked about this last week, Ross. You remember when you said that the Green Bay Packers have not faced a team over 500, and they finally did, and they got beat up pretty good, didn't they? put up 10 points, and then all those unanswered points. Okay, we'll move to Louis Diamond. What did you learn yesterday?
Well, I got to touch on what Ross just said there with Romeo Crennel. I mean, the guy has never been a great head coach, but you know, how does that decision really happen? I think Tony has an opinion on that. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. I'm learning that we got to start betting against the Texans again, number one. But I also learned that keep that one eye open on Mr. Tom Brady. He looked pretty good again yesterday.
Yeah, he did look pretty good, didn't he? And so did that Buccaneers defensive front. Beat up Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Good. Finally got to him. He was barely touched the first, 4 games? Had an off week.
He was rattled.
They got to him, and that's what happens.
Yes, sir. He was
Tony
rattled.
Gulledge, what did you learn?
Wow, big day yesterday. A lot of fun action. What I learned if you lose fire your head coach, the possibility of your winning goes up. Maybe for Chip's benefit, the Jets can fire the coach so they can win the next game. Yesterday was the 3rd consecutive week that a team had fired their coach and won the next game they played. So I learned there is a benefit to that. Mentioning that Houston play, I got burned on that game. It kind of set the day going. I didn't like the feeling I had after that. You score a touchdown with 1:54 left that puts you up 7. You're standing there. You either kick it for 90-something% chance to go up 8, or you try to end the game there on a 50-50 play going for 9. My assumption is that they didn't get rid of the analytics guys that Bill O'Brien had employed, and you've got a bunch of Asian dudes with abacuses pushing beads around, deciding what play to call there. I thought it was an awful decision, and basically it was a cascading thing that occurred after that. You know, Tennessee scored, Tennessee ties it, Tennessee gets the ball first and scores the touchdown. You literally had to have a cascade of events. NFL can be a brutal beast. That's what I learned yesterday, Brad.
Very unusual call, but Ryan Tannehill will take it, and now he's 12-3 as a starter for the Tennessee Titans. Who would have ever thought that? Look at the Miami Dolphins gave up on Ryan Tannehill, a former wide receiver, and now look at that man. We're going to move to game number 1, guys, and that is the Chiefs at the Bills. Chiefs opened up -5. Or, I'm sorry, it's currently -5.5. It was -2.5 with an over-under at 55.5 currently. We'll start right with you, Tony G. What are your thoughts for this game?
You got to like the matchup, right? You got 2 4-1 teams. Both their losses came the last game they played. So you've got 2 teams seeking to rebound from their most recent effort being their only loss of the season. I'm going to back the Kansas City offense here. I was kind of skeptical of the Buffalo defense on the back end. Up front, they stopped the run. Kansas City's not a running team. That's not what Buffalo has to be concerned with here. I think the Kansas City ability to get it deep will help them this week, whereas the Raiders have a little more athletic secondary, able to cover these guys a little better. I don't think Buffalo has that, that ability to really shut down on the corners. I think Kansas City gets healthy here, and I like them to cover that spread. So I'm playing Kansas City tonight.
All right, Chip.
Yes, sir. Well, this is a great matchup for sure. Both the teams coming off losses. And Kansas City, I was surprised they were such a strong favorite because we had so many kudos for the Buffalo Bills, not just on this show, but in general across the nation. Everyone thought the Bills were the hottest team around. And, of course, they were handled by Tennessee. And Tennessee, by the way, you're right about that lucky win. Romeo Crennel, last week I said you don't reward bad behavior. And Le'Veon Bell ends up going with Kansas City. And Romeo Crennel, bad coaching. Number 31 in defense, the defensive coordinator. What does the Houston team do? They give him a bump up to head coach. 31st in defense as a defensive coordinator, and they are putrid when it counts. Anyway, I will take the winner tonight, and wait for you to get it, is to go to chipwins.com because this is one of my best bets. Yesterday, my best bet was Tampa Bay, 4-1. And like Russ had said, thank you very much, Russ, for the plug. Would have gone 5-0 if Romeo Crennel had any kind of common sense. But this one is a big one for me. Go to chipwins.com and get the winner.
Thanks, Chip. The Buffalo Bills dogs, and I saved the 2 Buffalo boys for last. Let's go to Ross Benjamin.
Yeah, I am at this particular moment in time not willing to make a move on this game. Here's the thing. Tony mentioned the Buffalo secondary, and one big piece to the Buffalo secondary. Tre'Davious White, first team All-Pro last year. He didn't play last week with a back injury versus Tennessee, and he's questionable going into tonight. Also, their star linebacker Matt Milano, who's played at a very high level, not only when he's active this year, but last year as well. He's questionable. And then wide receiver John Brown, who's an integral part of that passing offense. Stephon Diggs gets a lot of love, but John Brown, he's able to stretch the field and open things up for the other two guys, Beasley and Stephon Diggs, and he's questionable as well. So until that, I have some kind of definitive notion as to the status of those players. And if I don't know anything a couple hours before game time, I'm going to leave this one alone, Brad. Certainly this is a tough matchup for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they did give up 42 last week in their defense, though. Tennessee had 4 drive starts inside the Buffalo 30 and converted them all the touchdowns. Three turnovers and also a punt return to give them great field position. Tennessee only had 334 yards in that game of offense, by the way. But again, right now, Brad, I'm not willing to make a call on this game. And the viewers, I would really take a look at Buffalo's injury status right up until a few days or a few hours before kickoff.
Thanks. Louis, Chiefs -5.
All right. I think this is really the matchup that we're all kind of looking for. Both teams, shit the bed last week, and now they get to bring their A game to the table. I've been talking, this could be Buffalo wasn't the number 2 team, but, they certainly proved me wrong. That is definitely questionable at this stage. And as this game, it really could be the AFC Championship preview. I think it has that potential. I think they got it set up for a great game. Both teams bring their A game. So I do have an opinion on this game, but I'm reserving my opinion. Actually, I'm going to reserve my opinion on both of these football games today because I am coming out with another teaser. So if you text free winner to 90210 yesterday or Saturday when I asked you to, and I know some of you did, now you're sitting on a nice teaser here tonight. So, and that was with the over with the Cardinals, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. So that one was there. So now I have another teaser going today. It is going with this game as well that you're going to want to take advantage of. You can get it for free. All you have to do is text free winner to 90210, and you'll get that text immediately. No questions asked, right back to you. A nice 14 teaser for you that'll make you some money here tonight. And if you have T-Mobile, you're going to have to give me a call, 877-711-9467. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Louis Bag of Diamonds. We move to game number 2, and that's the second Monday Night Football game. The Cardinals at the Cowboys. This game is currently -1, opened up -3. Dallas, now it's -1, 52 over under. It is now currently at 55. Let's start with you, Louis Diamond. What are your thoughts for this game?
Well, obviously, you heard me. I'm liking it over. I definitely feel that there's no way that this Cowboys defense is going to be able to hold Kyler Murray back. Now, Andy Dalton is the game manager, and obviously a lot of experience, playoff experience. But even at the height of his career, I'd never seen him as a gunslinger that's going to be able to hang in the big games. They have to try to slow it down. I think they're going to struggle slowing that game down here today with this. If Kyler Murray and his offense can get themselves in gear. They've been a little choppy lately. I mean, it was the Jets last week, so there's nothing much to brag about there. So, but I definitely feel they'll get the points on the board. Now, what Dalton's going to be able to do with that is a big question mark, and that'll be answered as well in that teaser. So back to you, Brett.
Chip, what about game number 2, Monday Night Football?
I think with Prescott out, it's going to help the Cowboys, actually. They're going to look for more ball control. They're going to look to give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott, and I expect this game to – excuse me. Come on. Oh. Got a 3-year-old running around. I expect the
What do
Cowboys
they
to
like?
try and control the ball on the ground. If they control the ball on the ground, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. They are ranked 27th in NFL defense entering this weekend and last in total points allowed. So, Louis may be absolutely right on here, and so might anyone else be with the total. But I think that Dallas is coming to play. They're giving up a ton of yards, like we said, and a ton of points. But with Andy Dalton, I think they're all going to gather around the lamppost and rally around the lamppost. And I look to see for the Cowboys to control the ball, to win the game, and for this to be a low-scoring game in spite of all the great offense you've seen out there, because the Dallas mission is to hold the ball.
All right, let's see if that comes true. Ross Benjamin, you agree or disagree?
Well, I'll agree on one point. I think he can do a lot worse than Andy Dalton as backup quarterback. That was a great sign, as Tony Cusimano alluded to earlier in the broadcast. But here's the thing with me. This is a Dallas team that's allowed 400 or more yards in 3 of 5 games this year. This is a Dallas team that's 2-3. Their only 2 wins came against the Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. And coming into this week, those teams were a combined 0-10. Of course, they got their first wins yesterday, so their strength of schedule, who they've beaten, not impressive. And they barely got by in both of those games, beating Atlanta by 1 and the Giants by 3. Arizona, 3-2 this year. The 2 games that they did not get 400 or more yards of total offense, they lost. The 3 games that they did, they won. And remember, Dallas is allowing over 400 yards per game, and Dallas has allowed 400 plus in 3 of 5 games. I like Arizona's chances to go over the 400 yards against Dallas tonight. And when doing that, they're 3-0 this year. So I'm going with Arizona. I'm going to differ with my buddy Chipper on this play.
All right, that leaves you, Tony Gulledge, the last opinion here on BettorCenter Live.
Well, in this game, obviously Dalton, as long as it's not a playoff game, he should be able to handle the situation and the pressure. For me, I think it's going to be the Dallas, even though their defense is horrible, right? I mean, all the numbers pointed out. I think it will be their ability to maybe try to keep things under control. And the rushing game is obviously for Dallas is going to be key. I kind of lean to what Chip is saying about the ground control for Dallas. I mean, that would have been a good strategy for them all year to this point. The turnovers, if Dallas cannot commit turnovers, I think they're going to win this game. You have Arizona, who had back-to-back losses, one at home to Detroit, then they went to Carolina, got beat. And then the perception kind of changed as they went to the New York Jets and got a win. I mean, are we really going to think all their problems are solved because they got a win against the Jets? I think what the Panthers did against them, you look for Dallas to do this tonight. They spread it out across the front to try to contain Murray, and then they'll have one guy looking to fill any hole if he tries to escape the pocket. It worked pretty damn well for Carolina. I think if any coaches were watching that, Dallas will try it tonight. I'm playing the Cowboys here. I don't think Arizona's quite the team to be going out onto the road in a pick'em situation. It's one of those where my handicapping line shows Arizona is better, but I know it's kind of a tricky spot. So I'm going to flip my pick and play Dallas here tonight.
All right, you heard it there. Tony Gulledge, BettorCenter Live on BettorCenter.com, at Louis Diamond on YouTube. Also, check out Facebook. Coming up next, we have the man on the street, Tony Cusimano. He was just in Texas, so my guess is he's still in Texas unless he took a very fast helicopter ride somewhere else. So let's go to Tony Cusimano next.
Brad Stein here, live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for BettorCenter Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. BettorCenter Live.
Hey.
All right. I'm
Magic
across the street here. Don't you love these cities? Philadelphia is the same way. The Wells Fargo Center and the Lincoln Financial are right across the street from each other. Seattle's the same way. So here we are, Arlington, Texas, or the greater Dallas metro area. I am now at Globe Life Park, home of this year's World Series, a neutral site, Tampa Bay versus the Dodgers. We have no starting pitching. We have no listed pitchers, I should say. No listed pitchers, but the line is over and under 8 runs, and the Dodgers are already minus 165 with no listed pitchers. Brad, could you believe that? So I guess, does that mean Kershaw starting, or
I don't know.
Starting, you don't know? Anyway, first time ever in the history of the World Series, a neutral site. I guess I'll get some feedback from everybody here. Coming into it, I have to lean Dodgers. They've got the pitching, they've got the hitting. Not that Tampa Bay's a shabby ball club, but I mean, just the whole season, the way the Dodgers just rocked in the regular season at 52-28, the shortened season. The three-man rotation, Kershaw, Walker Buehler, the bullpen by committee that they've had all year. I lean Dodgers in this one. I know, they're probably a favorite coming in. I did not check my futures now starting today for the series, but I would think they're the favorite. And but you can't count Tampa Bay out either. They're a scrappy team, and they were there. I mean, last year they won, regular season. They won 90 games. They were so under the radar. I guess it's just because of who they are and where they play in Tampa. Let's expect a good series here. I mean, we had two good 7-game sets with Houston and Tampa and with the Dodgers in Atlanta. Who thought the Braves would collapse? But of course, the history of the Braves, going back to the Braves of the 90s with Glavine and Smoltz, they always were, they always get to the World Series and choke. And then, of course, now in the last decade, the Dodgers were always getting to the playoffs and choking against the Cardinals and not making it all the way and then collapsing against Houston in 2017. And then, of course, that whole ball of wax with this, sign stealing and pitch stealing and so on and so forth. But, with that, I guess we'll throw it around the horn here. From Louis Bag of Diamonds, Chip. I mean, who does everybody like in this series? I have to lean with the Dodgers, even at a neutral site and all. I like the Dodgers in this series.
Thank you, Cusimano. Thank you very much. 2 times we had you there in Texas covering the World Series and, of course, the Dallas Cowboys Monday Night Football game. Before we get into this game number 3, the World Series, yes, the Dodgers are favored, but I just want to let everyone know that Cody Bellinger dislocated his shoulder during a celebration last night, celebrating the NLCS. So before you pick, you might want to take that into consideration. I don't know the severity, but I am just reporting that. And let's start with Tony Gulledge. Your thoughts for the Dodgers and the Braves, game number 1. I'm sorry, the Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
I feel you. I'm actually going to play Tampa Bay in this series. I think we mentioned the one thing I'll note about this series, these last 2, they played 7 consecutive days, 7 games in 7 days, no travel day, no day for the rotation or the bullpens to get situated. And that, I think that kind of hurt both these teams. I mean, obviously you're scrambling to get innings out of guys under that scenario. Here in the World Series, they will get a day off after game 2. And if they continue far enough, they'll get a day off after game 5. So, think about that as these managers try to lay these pitching rotations out. Obviously, when you get to a certain point, it's every man for himself. But I think Tampa has a little more grittier. I like what I see from them. They're a little grittier team for my money. And I know they're going to be getting the juice. So I'm going to play Tampa Bay. I'm going to count on the Dodgers doing what they typically do at this point, and that's spending all the money but not getting the rings. I'm playing Tampa Bay in this series.
All right. You got to give the Dodgers credit, or at least Dave Roberts, for keeping Urias in and not pitching Clayton Kershaw.
That was a great –
now we go with the Dodgers.
Hey, I'll give them credit. That was a very savvy move after the Braves with the runners on second and third run themselves into an inning-ending double play, basically killed their chances, 3-2 lead. The Dodgers get the lead. And, yes, not going to the human rain delay fat-ass Jensen in the 9th. Maintaining. That was a savvy chess move to allow that guy to keep pitching when he was getting people out. Thumbs up on that move because I was expecting them to do the classic put Jansen in there because he's the closer, and I could see that guy just choking it away. Great move by Roberts. The Dodgers deserve to be here.
Yep, they do. Dave Roberts might have saved his job, but they do need to win a World Series. Ross, Benjamin, what are your thoughts? Dodgers minus 165.
Well, both bullpens were taxed in their 7-game series in the championship series in each league. I think that's going to affect Tampa a heck of a lot more than the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, to me, have a better starting rotation and a deeper starting rotation. So they don't lean on their bullpen as much as the Tampa Bay Rays do. Tampa Bay, once again, I could see them going to try to patchwork their way through one or two games in this series with a bullpen by committee approach. I don't think that's going to work against the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers bullpen, if you look at their numbers, are just as good as Tampa Bay's bullpen, who's got a lot of accolades during this postseason, and rightfully so. With or without Cody Bellinger, the Dodgers are unequivocally the better hitting team. Look, the Dodgers came back from the dead. They were down 3-1. Dave Roberts, as Brad alluded to, he was on a lifeline. They came back, not only won the series, saved his job. I think this is the year the Dodgers don't choke. And I think Tampa Bay, who had a 3-0 lead and then had to win that in 7 games, I think the momentum here is with the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are the better hitting team, deeper starting rotation, and their bullpen, as good as they are, I think they're a bit taxed at this point. I'm going with the Dodgers here.
I'm frozen. If it's to me, okay. So hopefully you can hear me. I'll be very quick with this. I got to believe that with the taxed pitching, that the over has to have some value throughout this series. I'll be looking to play the over, and I'll also be looking to take some advantage of the underdog in the situation, but more so looking at some overs. Back to you, Brad.
Kick it over to Chip.
All right, Chip. Go ahead, Chip.
All right. Well, first off, I'd like to get another day under my belt before I have to commit myself to the entire series or even game one without starters listed. Interesting thing enough, yesterday, the Atlanta Braves didn't get a hit after they took a 3-2 lead, and they only had one base runner the last 6 innings. They went 6 innings with no hits and one base runner, so it really didn't look like it mattered who the Dodgers were bringing in out of the bullpen, but I think Tony was right. Leaving Jansen out there was probably the safest mode to go, and the Dodger pitching came through here. The thing about both these teams is they score the majority of their runs, almost all their runs, via the home run. There are no rallies and base hits, and other than that big 11-run inning that the Dodgers had against the Braves, for the most part, it's a long ball hitting teams that both strike out a lot and both leave men on base whenever they get there. I'm still going to wait. I'll talk to me tomorrow. I'll have a more definitive answer on who I like in the series and how I think it's going to go. But right now, I'm still up in the air. I love Monday night's action in the football, and I'm ready to pound the NFL once again.
All right, Chipper. I am going to close out the show today as Brad had a little technical difficulty right now. But Chipper, I also wanted to let you know, and I'll let all the viewers know that we actually won't be here tomorrow. We won't be back until Saturday for Big Ten college football. So don't be surprised when you don't see us. I know you'll probably miss us. At least we hope so anyways. But we will return with BettorCenter Live Saturday morning right here on BettorCenter.com or BettorCenter.com on Facebook or Louis Diamond on YouTube. So appreciate you joining us here today, and we'll see you back here Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time with BettorCenter Live.